So, I just wanted to make a quickie about the coming Disney Snow White, that love action terribleness. I won't complain about this Richard Ziegler thing. Everybody knows that. Uh, It's not the angle I want to go with. I want to add something new to the conversation. Like, what is the character of Snow White? You know, everyone is talking about how this is stalking or not stalking about the part side of the prince. But that's not the character of Snow White is about. The prince, in every sense, disappears from the movie, or if you want the story, like for the majority of it. Yes, there is the starting where he shows up and Snow White is singing about, oh, it would be good to hang around with someone, and at the end he comes and kisses him in the coffin. And that always bothered me, and this just struck me that that can be reasoned to a degree, at least, in context. So what is the character of Snow White? Who is Snow White? How how many years she lived at the story, at the start of the story? She was 14, maybe 16 at best, and her father was young, so he probably expected a son down the line. The queen killed him, so that's whatever. But it's reasonable to assume that Snow White was raised as a princess to be put in an arranged marriage or something like that. So that's that's not really a romantic story, Snow White. What does Snow White does? And as she never lusts after the prince when she lives with the dwarves, literally even up to her death, it never happens. The prince never comes up. So what does Snow White does? Snow White lives in a castle at the start, and she is lured away, chased away by the huntsman who doesn't want to kill her because Snow White is so pure. That's, whiteness means purity in the medieval context. So, what does Snow White next? She runs into the forest and lives with animals, and they bring her food and whatnot. So again, she's so pure, so Snow White, that she managed to survive amongst the animals, far away from any human intervention. And then she finds this cottage. I think the animals bring her there. If not, doesn't matter. And she goes in, and what's her first thought? Her first thought is, oh, let's tidy this up. If anyone lives here, it looks abandoned, but if anyone lives here, I will pay with my work. And she does that. So when the dwarves arrive, okay, someone eat our food and whatnot and sleeps in our bed, but she's so innocent. She definitely not meant any harm, and she cleaned up the house, so let's spare her life. Oh, for fuck's sake. So, again, she survives. And then she agrees with the dwarves that she does all the housework. She does not want any more compensation than sparing her life, letting her live there, and they will live happily ever after. So, Snow White is a survivor. She is the ultimate naivete character. Seriously, that's her character, and she dies for it. She's so pure and innocent. She doesn't recognize danger even when it is smacked into her face. She learns a bit and she hesitantly accepts the apple, but in the end she does, and she dies for it. but she's so pure, like some Jesus in the story. I don't like the Jesus character, but maybe I should just cut this out. But, medieval context, she's so pure that there comes the prince, if you want, God, and resurrects her. Because letting loose this innocence would be just a waste, a terrible mistake. And that's Snow White. She's the ultimate survivor. She's not some girl who lusts after man. She's not someone who is after power. She's a survivor. That's her character.